Welcome back to Watching Film at Varnadore Films. I am Seth Varnadore. I'm a former high school and college football coach. Now I break down film on YouTube. I missed the Eastern Washington game. I just got internet back towards the middle of the week here, but I did have time to put together a little Missouri preview. So we'll go ahead and look at Florida's next opponent, the Missouri Tigers.
All right, we'll start looking at the Missouri offense. That's definitely the weaker unit on the team. If you look at their stats, they're one of the worst offenses in the country, and a bunch of different metrics have been all right at generating explosive plays. And you'll see some of that here. So we'll start with the offense. Run game. They do a pretty good job with wide zone. You see here some motion, but kind of that same stretch that Florida uses, that same wide zone look. They also like to use motion with it. They had some success with the wide zone against Georgia. They break the big run, get it down to the one, end up only getting a field goal out of this drive, probably costing the game. And another look at the wide zone there against Georgia. They have some other run game stuff. They'll get into just so that looks more like an inside zone type look out of the gun. I would assume they're running wide zone out of the pistol, but here they have a little speed option look out of the pistol. A reverse look. And then something I didn't really know before watching them is they do a decent bit of quarterback run. There's some design runs. They'll also have him run in the read game as well. So he's somebody Florida's going to have to keep an eye on. They've had some issues with it, but what they want to do is generate shots down the field on play action. They haven't connected on a ton of them, but when they do connect, that's when they generate those explosives. Here's one quick play action. Hit this one later in the game. They missed that one earlier. And I thought this was a fun play. Off play action. You want to talk about a fun way to get to 4 verts. I'm not sure if he's reading this or not, but he doesn't look like he's vert. But vertical there. The tight end's going to arc out like he's leading up on the jet. And then he's your outside vertical. Your running back makes it look like he's leading for the jet, and then he's the inside vertical. The jet fake becomes your check down out there. So, cool way to get to kind of a 4 verts look. Drop it down there for the check down. 7 is their top receiver there. 3 is also the highly regarded freshman. But 7, I think, is the leading receiver and one of the leading receivers in the conference. You'll see he makes a lot of big catches. There's, again, jet motion, play action, getting a shot down the field here. So expect to see a ton of motion, ton of misdirection. Here's, not motion in this misdirection, not quite play action, but screen and go. So against a little type of misdirection, show screen, and then slip right here, right? Show screen, inside, go like you're blocking 2, slip. Well designed, if you run this with some pace, you can get an over-aggressive defense, catch them a little bit like they did there. And then here's number 7 showing up, winning downfield with one-on-one. Pretty good ball here, but they have not been real consistent in the passing game. One area Florida's going to want to kind of concentrate is this kind of out of the pocket stuff. The quarterback's done a good job of making plays with his legs, but also just kind of extending plays. And the receivers are doing a pretty good job getting open for him, and he's able to hit some throws down the field off these kind of plays. And Florida has shown the propensity to give this up this year. Right, they're not keeping guys in the pocket. I think if you keep this quarterback in the pocket and make him beat you throwing the ball, just dropping back and throwing it, I think he's going to have a hard time. He hasn't shown a ton of ability to do that this year. But if you let him get outside the pocket and kind of create with his legs, that's where he's going to hurt you a little bit. Then here's a good example of misdirection, moving the quarterback and just getting an easy throw for your quarterback there on 2nd and 5. So you got motion coming back. And then it returns to like a fast jet motion. So your defense, you've seen this, now that, and then he's coming back across. You're seeing a lot of movement, a lot of guys kind of crisscrossing, a lot of stuff to do with pre-snap, post-snap, and then you block the corner there. It's an automatic throw there. Easy throw for the quarterback, but just some interesting stuff. With this quarterback, I think if you get pressure in his face, he'll pull the ball down and take off looking to run. So if you get him in third and long situations, you bring the heat, he's probably going to pull it down and he could rally and tackle. So I think you can kind of go two ways about it. You can keep him in the pocket and try to force him to throw. But if you do bring pressure, I think you're going to get him to pull the ball down a ton. So it'd be interesting to see if Florida brings more pressure just to kind of see if they'll get him to pull his eyes down and abandon the throw game. Here's one where they have this designed pretty well here. The quarterback just misses it. Even with the blitz, this should be kind of stealing right here. Here, he's on the back. He's going to get out the flat, and this gets caught up in all kinds of traffic. Right here, he hits him. He walks in for a touchdown. Now they're up 20-3. Those 4 points ended up being somewhat important in this game. So that's not great. So the quarterback will miss some, but he's also forced a few throws. Here, he kind of gets away with it. He does not get away with it here. Trying to take a shot down the middle of the field, kind of underthrows this. The receiver has the safety beat here, but a bad throw lets the safety undercut this for an interception. And that's kind of the offensive side of the ball. If you can stop the run game, that kind of kills their play action pass stuff as well, which is a big part of their offense. Now, defensively, what you notice about them is that they're really aggressive on defense. You see guys flying the football here, safeties and nickels playing in the box, getting downhill. Ends flying upfield. Now, there's a couple of ends that have that something Florida fans have seen quite a bit in the past few years, where your end will fly upfield and get kicked out. But sometimes he beats the guy to the spot like he does here. They played pretty well at times against Georgia defensively, fitting up the run. They still have some mistakes and allow some explosive runs, and we'll see that soon. But right here, kind of slow play it, get a little bit lucky there with the turnover, but still look like they're in pretty good shape to stop the run on 3rd and 2 if he pulls it or not. They're not afraid to blitz. They're one of the top blitz teams in the country. Friend of the show, Bud Davis, shared a stat with me. Missouri's, I think, top 15 in the country in terms of blitz percentage on pass plays, so they're not afraid to bring the pressure. You see here against Georgia, they're bringing it. They call for a hold there, but they're not afraid to bring the house and play man-to-man. Another blitz here, gets home, forces a fumble. I would expect to see heavy blitz and rush from Missouri's defense. They have a little rush package on 3rd and long they like to play, where they'll play 3 down. And Hopper, heard of him? Hopper is kind of that extra rush guy. They'll use him to kind of let him loop and wrap around. He's also, I think, the guy they use for the quarterback spy. I think Florida fans know that he is an athletic player, so he may be the spy if they have a spy on Richardson. You see here, he's included in the rush. Step up and then loop around. Trying to get him one over the center. I think they do a pretty good job rushing the passer. And that's definitely something they're going to do against Florida, is kind of cut loose and rush the passer. They also will, I thought this was kind of interesting here. Looks like they're running a game here, but it also looks almost like a Tampa too. Looks like maybe he's going deep half. He turns and runs vertical down the seam, like down the pipe there. He looks like he's going to play a game, and then he drops out. So 3rd and long, they'll show some blitz, but then occasionally, right there, wrong guy here. So 6 will cross face. He'll come up and drop out there and kind of replace his linebacker that's running the pipe there. So you see that backer left. Now he comes to replace right there. But the quarterback's able to find a hole in the zone there and complete the pass. They played pretty well in defense except for this game. Kansas State kind of pushed them around. And some of it was late, and some because their offense was pretty bad. You see here kind of a creeper look, where this guy's traditionally in. You'll see him drop out. They'll bring the 4th from this side here. Rush wide. Try to get back inside there. So still only rushing 4, but kind of getting a blitz presentation. That's a creep or something you heard Patrick Toney talk about a ton in the offseason. Defensively, right, in the coverage-wise, they'll play man. They're not afraid to play man. You can get burned playing man, but they're not afraid to play it. If you don't get home with your pass rush, right, man, you've got to win out there. And Georgia there and play before Kansas State was able to kind of win that one-on-one matchup. Here was an interesting one. I don't think Florida's going to see this, so I wonder if this looks like a cover 1 where he's going deep middle. But I think they're doubling Bowers here. So I think he's got Bowers, and then the safety's coming down. I think to help on Bowers. He may just be – I don't think they're going to try to get him to add in from all the way back there. They very well could, but I think he might be just doubling Bowers. I don't think Florida will see that. Maybe they'll see some 2-man coverage on these downs if Missouri doesn't want to blitz. But I think if you're going to get that man coverage, you want Anthony Richardson to kind of do like Kansas State's quarterback Martinez does here. If it's not there, pull it down, get the first down, don't force it. But with being aggressive as they are, you can kind of open yourself up to an RPO. Here's a pretty slick one from Kansas State. I kind of included just because I really like the design of it. Here, he gets to the flat. You got 2 pullers coming across. So you're running kind of counter. He shows here, once they see this action where these guys are playing downhill, now I can pull it, throw it in this big window behind him. So that's a pretty nice little play. But just to kind of showcase the aggressiveness here of the defense. You show run, they're flying up. If you can hit some RPOs on them, those could lead to some explosive plays for you. And this is one thing that was kind of a consistent error, right? A few times where they're bringing pressure off the edge, they get gashed in the run game. It happened a few times. So they brought pressure off the edge, got gashed in the run game. Here, same thing, bringing pressure off the edge. Now, they end up getting back into playing calls a fumble here, but you bring that edge pressure. If it doesn't get there, and a quarterback that can run a little bit is going to hold him a tad, right? And then he goes for a big run. Again, pressure off the edge. Oops, where's the second level? This has been a consistent same thing, pressure off the edge, where's the second level? So this has been like a consistent thing. I don't know if they're kind of willing to give it up or just some bad, just losing your matchups at the line of scrimmage can lead to this. But that's quite a few times where they're bringing edge pressure. If it doesn't get there, you get a pretty big hole to run through there. Here is, this is taking on a counter block, taking on a puller right here. Right, this looks somewhat familiar to Florida fans. Not great there, taking that thing on. That opens up the hole there for you. Be able to scoot through. So I wonder if we see some gap schemes from Florida. They also have been somewhat susceptible to boot plays. We know Florida loves to run their nakeds. So even here, bringing pressure off the edge, quarterback's able to snap his eyes around and drop it off. Auburn had some success with this play 2 or 3 times. Able to pick up some chunk yardage, and they all look kind of like this, where you're getting that pressure off the edge, but if he's able to get it over that guy, there's nobody left for the receiver coming back across. And then a little pin pull quarterback run, just what we saw Florida do with Richardson against Tennessee. Interesting part here, you got a tight end nub formation. So 3 receivers to the top, back in the backfield, and here's your 1 tight end as the nub. I don't think they played the nub formations very well. Here's one example of it. This is a bad fit in the run game here. So they gave us some explosive runs. Here's another example of the nub. They ended up making a play here. But, this is blocked up pretty good on the front side there. If this guy doesn't track this thing down, and that's where you want your quarterback pulling that thing, slow him down. If he doesn't track that down, you got all kinds of space to that nub side. Here's another look at the nub. Picking up 6-7. I think that's got to be something that Florida takes advantage of there. So defensively, Missouri's really aggressive. fast and physical, but they will give up explosive plays. This is not like an elite defense, but they kind of make up for that with aggressiveness. Offensively, not a great offense. They have a couple pieces, but I don't know if the quarterback can play at a high enough level to get them really to do a ton of damage to Florida. This should be a good game for the Florida defense. Hopefully you get more of a Kentucky-like performance than you have the last couple of weeks. And then if they're able to do that, I think the offense does enough for Florida to win this game. But it'll be interesting to see what we get from the defense against that kind of weaker Missouri offense.
Once again, that awesome Star Wars wipe means we are at the end of the video. If you like what you saw, if you want to see more college football schematic related content, please subscribe. We should be putting something out every week, hopefully during the season. Just whatever teams are trending or kind of what interesting scheme stuff. If you want to watch older videos, there should be a link at the top of the page here. And you can follow me on Twitter at Seth Varnadore. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.